All right, we're back here in Phoenix. CP3, Devin Booker, and the Suns looking to go up 2-0 on Giannis and the Bucks tonight in Game 2 of the Finals on ABC. Welcome back to The Jump. I got Matt Barnes joining us now alongside Kendrick Perkins. Chris Bosh still on the line from Texas. Or no, you're in Los Angeles now. Look at that behind you. It's lovely, lovely, Chris. This offseason, guys, you will remember that the Celtics did some reshuffling, right? Brad Stevens stepping aside as coach, but now being lifted up to GM. Danny Ainge retiring. Taking Stevens' place, though, Ime Udoka is now the head coach. And yesterday at Team USA basketball practice, Boston star Jayson Tatum speaking for the first time about his new head coach. Take a listen.
Coming up as an assistant, you get your first head coach job that you're driven and motivated, and from the conversations that I've had with him since he's, gotten the job, I can tell he's just really, really excited. So, it's going to be fun, and, we're going to try to accomplish something big.
Perk, do you like how I said Team USA basketball practice as if maybe they had been on the swimming team or the gymnastics team? I just wanted to clarify that for the people. The Celtics team, though, that Jayson is on is, I know, a particular interest to you, sir. So what do you think it will take for new coach Udoka, Tatum, and the Celtics to be title contenders once again?
Well, in a perfect world, I would like them to get Kyle Lowry, but I don't think they have the capital or the money or the cap space to do it. I would actually, consider trading Marcus Smart for Malcolm Brogdon. I would bring him in. I think he's a guy that fits in well around the two guys that matters the most, and that's Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, right? He's a 50, 40, 90 guy. He knows how to play off the ball. You saw him when he was with the Milwaukee Bucks early in his career. We saw him with the Indiana Pacers and how he's able to be a system guy. So a guy that complements him very well. He's making around $20 million a year, which he deserves it. He could go out there and get you 20 a night, and he don't need the ball in his hands. He also can run the point if you need him to, and he's not bad on the defensive side of things.
I think Perk made a great point. It's been an experiment as far as trying to find the right point guard to fit with Tatum and Brown. They tried Kyrie, that didn't really work. They tried Kemba, that really worked, and those are score-first point guards. I think, as Perk pointed out, you need someone that can, initiate the offense, get the ball in the right people's hands, knock down shots when needed, then play defense. So I think that's probably the most important key to this team getting back on track. I think last year got kind of lost in the shuffle with the pandemic, injuries. I think Brad Stevens lost that locker room early in the season. You can kind of tell through their inconsistent play. So I think adding Moses Brown for that Kemba Walker trade is going to be big for him. He's a big, tall kid that can rebound, block shots, and really hold that paint down. So I'm really looking forward to these guys getting back on track. But again, I think finding a point guard, a throwback Rondo ideally would be perfect, and I'm sure Celtics fans would like that, but someone that can definitely get the ball in the guy's hands in the right positions and be effective on both ends.
I mean, Rajon Rondo himself might be available, Matt Barnes. I just don't know if you can stick him in a de-aging time machine.
I love Rondo, but that ain't it.
Chris Bosh, look, Kendrick brought up trading Marcus Smart, which has been heresy to Boston fans for a long time. But do you think a move like that to get someone back who can have a little different element to that team is a smart move, or do you see something else being a better decision?
Well, I'll definitely have to go 3 for 3 with the fellas. They do have to have an upgrade at point guard. That's been a struggle for them for years. And sometimes it's really taxing, especially on Tatum, Marcus Smart, to play those point guard positions sometimes, play, pretty much out of their positions and try to make things happen. You definitely want a floor general out there that could dictate the offense, get the ball to where it needs to go, and really run that team. And really, outside of that, they have everything else. Bringing back Al Horford, they have veteran leadership in the locker room. I want to give credit to Ime Udoka for really just putting the work in and making sure he's ready and available when his time came. I mean, he's been a great assistant coach for some time, and now it's his time to shine up there with Boston. And I'm sure he knows the position that he's in. Kendrick can tell you that the moment you come up to Boston, I'm pretty sure you're expected to win right away, and it's championship or bust city. So they're going to have to put something together, but definitely the first thing they have to address is that point guard situation, and then I think they can build out from there.
I think one thing to keep in mind, too, which makes Perk's point more valid, is although Marcus Smart is that emotional leader, that defensive leader, Jayson Tatum and Brown are actually two-way players. They both get in and play some defense. And normally with young scorers, it's only one side of the ball. But those two guys play both sides of the ball. That's which makes, again, heart and soul Marcus Smart. I love to see him and what he's done there. But it makes him expendable because your two best scorers can also play defense.
Yeah, well, I like the idea when everyone gets to be a two-way player because there's play on both ends of the basketball court. That's personally my preference in a player, but that's just me, and I'm more of a fan. Chris Bosh, thank you so much for joining us. You will be back with us through these finals. We love hearing from you. We'll see you soon. Everyone else, stick well. So, what adjustments would you recommend that the Bucks make to be like you, Richard?
Well, the first thing that I would recommend is for Perk to stop taking all these deep breaths and acting like he's got an attitude. That's the first thing that we want to address. And second, I think the mentality is more of, it is a boxing match. You want to feel each other out in game one. The Bucks were playing without Giannis in the first two games, so that's not going to be the best version of themselves, and I think the Phoenix Suns know that. So I think for the Bucks, it's just more keep pushing in the same direction, figure it out, get that rhythm, but they're going to need more contribution similar to what they had when Giannis was out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just wish everybody wouldn't overreact to game one for the simple fact, if you look at the history of the Suns throughout this postseason, they have dominated game ones because they put themselves in position to be successful by closing series out, right? You look at the Bucks, they had a quick turnaround. They wasn't able to make the adjustments, right? They had to go in with the same type of thing that had them successful against the Atlanta Hawks they did in game one. Now they have an opportunity to make adjustments. And it's just cleaning up the pick and roll, maybe not switching, challenging Drew Holiday to get up and over screens the guards, because you can't switch now. The Aiden is too talented. When the Atlanta series, you were able to switch because you were able to challenge, your guards were able to challenge John Collins and Clint Capella on the low block. You can't do that with DeAndre Ayton.
Right.
And then you can't leave Brook Lopez and those bigs on the island. What Phoenix do a great job of on the offensive end, they don't give the defense a chance to load up and help. They do a great job of player movement when they have a guy isolated at the top of the key, so you can't play boxes and elbows.
I mean, one of the fun things about game one of this series, even if you're a dispassionate observer, you're not rooting for either team, but watching Chris Paul in real time be able to say, oh, I see how this is going for the first two quarters, and by quarter three just being like, and this is how we will pick this apart. And I think that is, of all the things that are fun to watch about basketball at this elite NBA Finals level, some of it is like, oh, wow, did you see that chase down block from Giannis? Or, oh, wow, did you see so-and-so shot the lights out? This, to me, just as a fan, is one of the more fun things to also see. Watching someone figure something out, make the adjustment, and then deliver the kill shot in real time. It's fascinating part of the game.
Well, and what I love about it is that Chris Paul does such a great job of spreading out the floor. Devin Booker typically comes out and is very aggressive in the first quarter. He likes to get everybody involved, but it's not as simple as that. Chris Paul puts himself in a position to be successful. Now he's got to go be successful. So when he's distributing and he's doing all those stuff in the first three quarters, then next thing you know, right around those boxes and elbows, now those things are open. Chris Paul still got to knock down those shots. He still's got to get to that spot. He's still got to read the defense, but now it's so much easier because he's put in that work.
Well, I wanted to ask you something, Perk. So we look at that number 31-4, right? That's the record of teams that go up 2-0. That's a little skewed just because the home team is often the better team, right? So it's not a surprise if the home team goes up early, because normally they're there because they have the higher seed from doing better during the season. Do you think that this Suns team is so much more of a higher seed or a higher sort of elite level team than the Bucks, or do you think they're more evenly matched? Because what follows will affect that.
No, I actually think they're pretty equal.
Okay.
I mean, look, when you get to this point in time in the finals, right, you could talk about defensive coverages, you could talk about offensive schemes, you could talk about everything in the world, but these two teams are here for a reason. It's the best out of the Eastern Conference and the best out of the Western Conference. They deserve to be here. It comes down to who wanted the most. It comes down to your superstars rising to the occasion and making shots. I keep hearing everybody talk about Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis in a pick and roll. If you go back and look at CP3 and Devin Booker, they made tough contested twos and tough contested threes time and time again in game one. great offense beat good defense any day. So right now it's at this moment of who wanted the most.
Well, look, you have an NBA title. I really respect both of your opinions, but there's a guy we have who has 2 NBA titles.
Oh, and he's far better than us. Not
let's
better
bring
looking,
him
not better
in
looking, but
also.
better.
Yeah, right,
Better.
right. What's up,
Chris
CB?
Bosh, thank you so much for
he heard
being
us?
here today. I love having you on this, and I wanted to get your opinion. What adjustments do you think the Bucks need to make tonight?
Well, I mean, we've been talking about the free throw discrepancies, and I think that's one of the things that they can improve on in the next game. Of course, you can debate on referee calls and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you have to guard without fouling. Book and see Chris Paul. They're going to be very aggressive, so they're going to have to make sure they stay in front of them and kind of like Perk said, keep forcing them into those contested twos. But to be honest, if I'm the Bucks, I kind of like where I am right now. You definitely can't come into game 2 getting down 20 points. I think if you're in that position in the finals against any team on the road, that's no good for you. They need to make sure they come out strong tonight, make sure they have a better game plan and a better effort in the beginning of the game to make sure that they could be a little closer. But all in all, they've got to play a little bit better defense. I think they can be pretty happy with that. But really, they've got to score a few more points and get a few more stops. And I have to say, last week on the show, I said that I didn't think Giannis was going to be able to come back. I have to give him his credit. He showed some poise and a lot of toughness. So give credit to Giannis and the medical staff of the Bucks for getting him back out there because he looked pretty good.
I mean, he obviously several basketball moves he made during that game were just exceptional. The chase down block obviously is just such a visual representation of his athleticism.
That big
being
body
okay.
was the most impressive thing I saw.
Right?
That big body.
You don't know nothing about his big body.
I do want to pick up, though, on what Chris was just talking about with the free throw disparity, right? Yeah. Certainly one of the big storylines of Game 1. The Suns were 25 of 26 at the line. The only miss came just within the last 30 seconds of the fourth quarter when the score was already pretty much decided. The Bucks had just 16 attempts, and yesterday, Mike Budenholzer addressed the situation.